Rarely is there a video that is so easy to write, at the same time being so time-consuming. I wish this wasn't the area I have so much expertise in, but after 30 years of trying to find a solution to my anxiety, I gained a huge wealth of knowledge about fear, stress, and methods of dealing with them, mainly thanks to people like Michael Tsarion, Wayne Dyer, and Bruce Lipton. As you have noticed, I spent a long time working on this video. I've been collecting notes and related information for years, and this looks like it's going to be the longest video on this channel so far. I know that many of you want these videos to be as long as possible, so I think this one should make you happy. At the end of this video, I will address the relationship between my anxiety, this channel, and you, as I believe it is important to mention the part you play in this. I want to let you know that I'm creating a website with everything related to 434 where you can get quick access to all the necessary information. You can go to b434.com to learn more. It is very important to me that you help to build the 434 structure, and I would appreciate your support through Patreon, PayPal, Subscribestar, or through cryptocurrencies. All links in the video description. Please share these videos to help more people access them. So what is fear? I always liked this acronym I found online a long time ago. Fear is false evidence appearing real, because fear is just an illusion. Fear is not real. It is something in the future, something that might happen but doesn't have to. Fear is something that appears to be necessary but serves no useful purpose, because your fear is in 90% an illusion of things that will never happen and 10% of things you can handle. If you don't believe me, analyze all the things you are or were afraid of, write them down in one column, and then in the other one, tick how many of them actually happened. The fear you create in your mind is usually much worse than the situation itself. That which you are scared of is hardly ever as bad as what you imagine it to be. Worry doesn't remove the sadness from tomorrow, but it does suck the joy out of today. Fear takes away the ability to enjoy the present moment, and without present moment, you're left with nothing. I'll risk a theory that fear is a choice because we are what we think about all day long. Our life is what our thoughts make it. We suffer because we create thoughts that make us suffer. The habit of expecting and imagining that everything will go wrong makes us feel bad. As human beings, we are full of energy. That is our natural state. It is drained by anger, fear, inner conflicts, and obsessive negative thinking. It has been proven scientifically that we're not born negative with emotions like anger or aggression. We're wired for affection, companionship, attachment, and belonging. But humans seem to be fearful creatures. Look at the society. Look how few rule over billions of people. It takes a tiny fraction of us to remove the oppressors from power, yet we're scared to do it. Fear is a great business and a great method of keeping one separated from selfhood. Fear is the system's tool to keep you inactive because we get addicted to fear. This is how the system works. This primitive world basically pushes you deeper and deeper into the anxiety hole. Things like work or personal relationship, rejection, it's all crazily difficult for those with anxiety issues. Our fears arise when we struggle fitting into this difficult reality. When we can't conform to the standards of crazy people, or when we try to get the approval of sociopaths who try to shape the social norms. The fear of what others think of us is one of the biggest prisons we live in. The worst part is that we impose the norms ourselves and we control each other. As children, we develop anxiety and guilt in interaction with society, and they shape our future lives. These emotions are exploited by the authoritative figures. Children are the most traumatized class in our society because everyone wants to exert power over them. Whether it is parents or teachers, everyone just wants to feed their egos by controlling and overpowering a weaker human. That's how our relationship with anxiety begins. Anxiety and depression are mainly caused by interpersonal loss and rejection, and timing plays an important role. The earlier, the worse. If the traumatic event in your life happens when you're young, the cortisol and stress hormone levels jump up in your adult life. This means the inherited serotonin transporter predisposes your vulnerability to anxiety, stress, and depression later in life. The price of fear is very high. Anxiety takes away most of your life energy, and it stops you from enjoying life and from reaching your full potential. You'll be wrong about a lot when you let fear cloud your judgment. Your decisions and world interpretation will have nothing to do with reality. You will close yourself off in your imaginary world where nothing works, leading to misunderstandings, conflicts, anger, aggression, and addictions. You will develop a fake personality that will be beyond your control. Your ego will take over and your ability to make logical decisions will disappear. Lives driven by fear are slow-motion train wrecks and usually end up in disasters. There's no limit as to how destructive fear can be. It can easily cost you your life. I've seen it. You can have all the money in the world and anxiety can make it absolutely worthless. There's also the metaphysical price of fear. A scared mind and body are unable to reach higher vibrational frequency, which allow for spiritual growth and reaching the potential of this existence by accessing the true nature of this reality. The cost of fear is living a mundane physical existence. Anxiety is typical for empaths and highly intelligent people. The more you know and the higher your environmental alertness, the more aware you are of the threats in life. Very often this leads to aggression. It is a way of reacting to our own fear. Aggressive people are very scared people. Anxiety is a disability and it should be treated as a serious condition because it negatively affects your whole life. Physical disability is visible and people can react to it, but I believe in some cases anxiety has a more crippling effect on life than certain types of physical disability, yet it is not treated like that. Anxiety is usually brushed off as a weakness or weirdness. Chronic fear has some serious biological and physical implications that most of us don't know about. Fear shuts down the immune system and makes you open to bacteria and fungi that live in your body. Anxiety and resulting stress prevent the blood flow from the brain and negatively affect many aspects of your biology and personality, like intelligence, for example. Fear and stress, preventing the blood flow from the brain, negatively affect your ability to reason and think logically. But the most dangerous effect of anxiety is the ability to change your DNA. In reality, most of our energy is spent on protection against an imaginary threat. Your system can't see the difference between real and imaginary danger. It will prepare to fight or run no matter what the situation is. It is not what happens that makes us anxious, but our brain's understanding of what happens. It is your interpretation of a situation that will rewrite the genes to accommodate stress, not the actual situation. Bruce Lipton's books explain it perfectly. In every nucleus and every cell of the body, there's a gene that is used to rewrite other genes if they're affected by stress, and every cell can only be in one state, either a growth state or survival state. Your body stays healthy when your cells are in growth mode, but if they're in survival mode, they stop repairing processes and they stay in the shutdown mode as long as necessary, often starving to death. Fear is literally killing you on cellular level. That's when you develop all kinds of diseases. That's when you get wrinkles, gray hair, or when you go bald. That's how you recognize a stressed person. The most disturbing part of the fear-induced DNA changes is that it can be passed down to even 7 generations. That's why fear is often inherited from anxious parents. There are a few more important body-related anxiety issues. Living in a stratified society is a significant factor in developing anxiety and stress. This means that the worse your relative financial status, the worse your health. I stress the word relative, which in this case means compared to others. The quality of your social importance has an impact on your health and is as bad as your assumed level of poverty. Who you compare yourself to will decide about your level of fear in life. Also, it appears we worry more when we're tired, which creates a vicious circle of anxiety, stress, and fatigue. This is why I always talk in my videos about the value of being relaxed. Scientists found that an optimistic outlook can cut your risk of heart disease almost by half, and that laughter increases the arterial blood circulation by up to 50%. Also, to answer your questions about 5G, cell phones, energy lines, radiation, electromagnetic fields, and so on, the energy in the environment can activate or deactivate the main functions of the cell, and they can have a detrimental effect on your health. But here's the important part. This can happen only when your body is under stress, which means that the more scared you are, the more affected you are by the external factors. And since estrogen is the hormone that responds most to the electromagnetic field under stress, it appears women will be more affected by this than men. Now I want to talk about my anxiety and my experiences because I know that this is the part that many of you usually relate to the most. Fear is the most ridiculous part of my life. My fear got me to a point in life where it is obvious that I'm not a normal human, even if I tried and wanted to. It's safe to say that anxiety makes me a broken person, and I feel like that very often, especially when I observe how little it takes for healthy people to go through life without bigger issues. There's not many of them, and I'm not envious of people normally, but I wish I was like those who are not familiar with chronic anxiety. I like myself, but that's one thing I would change in a heartbeat. My anxiety is a result of my life conditions and my environment. Rejection shaped my personality, and from early years of my life, because of me being so different, I either had to adapt or face exclusion and disapproval. Before I had depression, I had anxiety. I lost all sense of security when I was 9 and when my mom moved, and I was left with my angry dad and his crazy mother. It affected my childhood, my sense of security, my friendships, my sexual life, my family, my career, my body, and my health. I don't think there is an area of my life that hasn't been affected or damaged by chronic anxiety. Fear took away from me the most important things in life. It made me live a life that is not even 50% of my potential. Because of fear, I feel I was in the wrong place for a long time in my life. For many years, fear stopped me from socializing with people. It turned out that once I got rid of it, that I'm a very social person and that I like spending time with people. Recently, I noticed I have what I call life PTSD. Last Sunday night, I looked outside my bedroom window and I realized that I feel anxious because I see dark windows of houses full of people having to wake up on Monday morning to start the dreadful 9-to-5 existence. I know this must have started at a young age when I had to wake up early to go to school, and fears like that are present in almost every area of my life. You can only imagine the quality of my existence. It is important to mention that there is a difference between fear and anxiety. I have no fear of animals or humans. In fact, I'm stupidly brave when it comes to standing up to people stronger than me, which got me in trouble a lot in my life. But I do have internal anxiety, which is mostly abstract. I think I'm mostly scared of the future. It destroys the joy of being in the present moment. Past is also affected by my anxiety. I've noticed some time ago that my memories are ruined by a fearful emotional state I was in at that moment, even if it was not related to that particular memory. I've recently developed a new form of fear, which is intrusive, fearful, or negative thoughts. I often catch myself building some irrational scenarios of doom and gloom that are usually triggered by a single negative abstract thought. Some of these scenarios are so abstract and so impossible that I get mad at myself for generating internal anxiety based on a cruel cartoon that my brain decided to render. Because of this, and because of seeing negative outcomes of everything, my life is a perpetual horror movie. All I see are disasters, dramas, and threats. It is not easy to live a normal life having a paranoid mindset. My anxiety is exasperated by news, which I try to avoid. The emergence of the internet and the awareness it brought turned my life into a nightmare. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we had no idea about life and what humans were capable of before the internet. I have learned and seen things that can be unseen, and the best analogy I can use is Lilo in the movie Fifth Element, discovering the letter W when learning about humans. I want to summarize talking about my issues with this. At least I decided to deal with my fear. Most people give in and let their fear shape and run their lives. I think the world is the way it is because no one is brave enough to face their internal demons. That's why we use all these distractions. That's why everyone is addicted to something. We live in a society that mastered these mental escape mechanisms through trivia and denial. Over the years, I found many methods of dealing with anxiety, and I will tell you about them now. First and most important is psychedelics. They do not entirely cure anxiety, but they do help a lot. They can remove anxiety for weeks and they can give you insight into the root cause of your condition. Anxiety usually is deep-seated in your past. Psychedelics are important to get to it. Dig deep to find out why you feel the way you feel. It usually is buried deep in your childhood. Once you find the problem, it will be very easy to solve it. As in the case of depression, to fight anxiety, you need to start from the basics, getting the right food, getting enough sleep, and stopping the use of all addictive substances. It is very important, and it's very difficult to control anxiety without it. It was discovered that there is a positive correlation between omega-3 fats and anxiety. The same with magnesium levels and other nutrients and microelements. Over the years, I learned that crashing after consuming sugar, alcohol, and caffeine will have a huge impact on your anxiety. Also, the level of stress hormone cortisol is related to abdominal fat, which would indicate that it is difficult to try and deal with fear when being overweight. It seems a healthy body is crucial to a healthy mind. Scientifically speaking, stress and anxiety resilience is built through breathing techniques, physical activity, social connection, and positive mind. Meditation and breathing techniques do wonders. That is why I talk so much about it here. We all have shallow, nervous breathing habits, and rhythmical deep breathing is one of the best methods to calm down. You can use the deep breathing technique to lower your stress immediately in any situation. Meditation is a very important factor, and even a few minutes will make a huge difference in how you feel. It is very important to talk about your problems and fears with someone you trust. You need social interaction and connection to help yourself. But the most important that you will need to do is creating a logical, positive mindset that will rewrite your neural paths and will create new thinking patterns. You can start by not worrying about things which are beyond your control. It is pointless to create negative scenarios over which you have no control. Assess your current situation. If there's no real threat, ignore your fears. Leave it for moments when you will really have a reason to be anxious. Maybe you will learn that those moments don't exist. Every day you wake up with a thought that makes the day either a chore or a day filled with happiness and joy. The most important decision you will make is whether this is a friendly or hostile life. Everything starts from that. Happiness is controlling your thoughts. It doesn't depend on external conditions. It depends on what's happening inside of your head. The amount of work is the same in making yourself happy or making yourself feel miserable. It is up to you which one you decide to go for. The problems are created subconsciously. Feed your consciousness only positive thoughts in a bossy way and it will not create any problems. Train it like a dog. Don't let it run free. Have faith in the plan this life has for you. It is not what you have or who you are or where you are or what you do that makes you happy or unhappy. It is how you feel about it. Believe that the whole world has a positive attitude towards you and that it is trying to help you. See yourself as the one who gets all the help and all the access to available energy. Remember, it is always there for you. It is real and it will always answer your requests and it will give you the best possible solution to your problems. The communication language is positive emotions. That's how the law of emotional attraction works. Don't take life too seriously. Ask yourself, what is the worst that can possibly happen in a given situation, and then prepare to accept it. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. The worst hardly ever happens. Like yourself and believe in yourself. Self-confidence is important in removing anxiety from life. You should know that forced smiling releases endorphins in your body. Fake it until you make it. Other than working on your mindset, you can take into account a few more things. Anxiety-free life is a reward for a life of virtue. Happiness is living to one's full potential. Fear disappears in a life filled with purpose and excitement. When my first video went viral and I knew that I might be on track to making a difference in other people's lives, all my anxiety went away. I was too busy to be depressed or scared. You can find meaning in life through devoting yourself to helping society. Knowing that your life is attached to something bigger than you yourself helps with fear. It has been scientifically proven that gratitude lowers stress, fear, and aggression. Be grateful for all you get and all you have in life. There is much more to thank for than you realize. Things that drive people crazy are regret of the past and fear of the future. Live in the present moment. It is all you have. Don't think about the past. The future is created today. Tomorrow doesn't exist yet. Depression and fear is often the inability to construct future. The best way to deal with depression and anxiety is to educate yourself and learn new things. The more you know, the less scary the world looks. If you're a teenager or if you're in your 20s, remember that it is normal to be anxious about life. Give yourself time. It will go away with experience. Create the right life conditions to get rid of anxiety-generating situations. All our problems and issues are a result of unfulfilled desires and needs. Identify what it is that you're missing in your life and work on it to solve your problems and to have a fulfilled life. It is good eventually getting to a point where anxiety is just boring and you can't stop paying attention to it. When getting tired of the same fake nonsense your mind is playing back in front of your eyes, you can start getting your body's reaction under control. Thanks to the 434 values, I now have a recipe for creating anti-anxiety thinking patterns and behavior. Machine elves have been giving me answers to my most troubling questions, and they've resolved a lot of very important existential issues for me. Use it. Fill your life with 434. Be 434. It is not all bad. There are some positive aspects of anxiety though. Your suffering is your guide. If you are off the path, you'll suffer. Your fears can be medicated, caffeinated, ignored, or drugged, but won't go away unless you acknowledge them and deal with them. Observe your fears and worries for a moment. They will tell you what is wrong with you. Then get rid of them. The scary demons inside of us that we are so afraid of and so desperately are trying to escape from are in reality our most important teachers. Once you get to know them and face them, they will become a mirror that will show you the true self. Because of fear, I identify all emergency exits entering rooms. I learned that from Japanese people. I sit in the wing section of planes as this is the safest area during an emergency landing. I sit behind the driver in a cab as this increases your chances of surviving a car accident. I believe that all those fear-driven actions make my life safer and might save my life one day. As I was making this video, I realized I could have called this video happiness issues. Instead, I concentrated and talked about that which is negative. This channel is also partially a product of fear. I spread to other social media always being anxious about the censorship attempts of YouTube towards anyone who they disagree with. I created a BitChute channel as a backup, and I'm working on an app that will cut YouTube out of the equation, all because of the fear of losing contact with you. But this channel and you guys took away so much of my anxiety. You gave my life meaning, and your support gave me a huge boost of hope. Because of your love and appreciation, I'm more relaxed and I have more energy to help others and create support structure for those in need. For the first time in years, it feels that the future is bright. I have an incredible sense of community and belonging. I'm not alone anymore. For that, I'm forever grateful to you. Now you understand the reason why I ask for your support in every video. I was given a very important task of interdimensional information transfer, and while I'm doing this, I'm also fighting my own demons. And it is a hard, difficult, energy-consuming battle that I'm finally starting to win. Your support makes the journey so much easier. It turns work into pleasure. It is not just that I need your support to build the 434 structure. Of course, that is the main reason. But I discovered that it also incredibly helps with my anxiety issues. Knowing that my work generates financial effect of gratitude for some reason has a relaxing effect. I don't fully understand it. Might be the financial safety net, might be the perspectives you create for me, or just the awareness of you guys willing to help out. I'm not sure. But all I know is that for me, the first time in years, my anxiety is at the lowest level. Maybe the lowest since my childhood. That is why in every video I repeat the mantra of Patreon, PayPal, Subscribestar, and cryptocurrencies. You make my anxiety disappear. And of course, the awareness that we're discovering and creating something groundbreaking together is so incredibly fulfilling and uplifting to me. It just makes me happy. And I know that for many of you, these videos are helpful in getting answers and alleviating anxiety. Thank you to those of you who said that you fall asleep listening to my voice. It's an incredible compliment for me. I hope this video helped you. I was told I'm on a mission. I was told all my pain was necessary. I had to look for medicine, and it got me in contact with the outside dimension, and that led me to you. Suffering stops once it finds its meaning, and I hope you will get a chance to find the purpose of yours. Love, 434.